Have you guys been explicit so far about wanting to win a championship this year? And
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
What does success then look like? I mean, is
A
that
championship.
success?
What does it look like when the most scrutinized, criticized, and sensationalized rookie in WNBA history becomes the league's biggest threat? Not just a rising star, but a full-blown supernova on a collision course with every old narrative, every doubter, every analyst who thought they had her figured out. That's the story unfolding right now, and her name is Caitlin Clark. She's not just making noise. She's rewriting the script, and this time, no one's getting out ahead of it.
But I will say a couple of things. Do I expect A'ja Wilson to be A'ja Wilson again this year? Yes. But I also know there is such a thing as voter fatigue. They don't like giving anybody MVP 3 times in a row. They barely like to do it 2 times in a row, let alone 3 times in a row. I just don't see it simply because of voter fatigue. Like it just is what it is. I also think that Caitlin was putting it together in such a way last year. They're only going to get better. And now they've got a full offseason together. I could 100% see this happening. Caitlin Clark winning MVP.
Because make no mistake, Caitlin Clark didn't come back for a victory lap. She came back to finish what she started. Last year, she broke 62 records, dragged a rebuilding team into the playoff picture, and somehow still finished 4th in MVP voting. 4th. That's not just disrespectful, that's delusional. But while the media clung to their comfort picks and recycled narratives, Clark got to work. And now? Now the sportsbooks, the media, and even the haters are starting to admit what the fans have screamed all along. She's not just a contender, she's the favorite.
There we are right there. Caitlin Clark is officially the favorite to win the most valuable player.
But this isn't just about numbers, highlights, or headlines. It's about what happens when a player refuses to fold under pressure, and instead uses it as rocket fuel. This is the story of Caitlin Clark's MVP revenge season. And trust me, the league isn't ready.
We're not here to chase greatness. We're here to claim it. Our ambitions don't fit into headlines or highlight reels. So if you thought we arrived,
2 more for Boston.
now you know. We're not here for the moment. We're here for the takeover.
Last season, Caitlin Clark did the unthinkable. As a rookie, she didn't just survive in a league full of seasoned veterans, she thrived. 62 records shattered. An assist total that made WNBA history. She dragged a franchise from the bottom of the standings into playoff contention. And what was her reward? 4th in MVP voting. Not 2nd, not 3rd, 4th. The message was loud and clear. No matter how much you do, it's never enough when you're shaking the system.
So let's start with our 2025 WNBA MVP, and that has to go to the one and only Caitlin Clark.
But while the media slept, Vegas was wide awake. FanDuel, BetMGM, and even ESPN, the same outlets that barely acknowledged her rookie dominance, are now aligning on a different narrative. Caitlin Clark is the MVP frontrunner, not tied, not in the mix, leading. The shift isn't built on hype. It's built on hard numbers, off-season improvements, and a league that's starting to realize she's not a fad, she's the future. This isn't fan fiction, it's Vegas, it's money, and money talks.
I truly think that this second year for Caitlin Clark is going to be like nothing we have ever seen. She has had an entire offseason to train, to get into the gym, to work on things that she struggled with during her rookie season.
And what it's saying is simple. We all saw the signs. We just weren't brave enough to believe them. But Caitlin Clark? She never needed belief. She needed a shot. And now that she has it, the MVP campaign isn't just heating up. It's inevitable.
Like, she broke the record for assists. I don't think people really understand like how crazy that is to do as a rookie, your first year doing this.
Caitlin's first year in the WNBA didn't feel real. It felt scripted, like a sports movie where the underdog walks into chaos and somehow imposes order. She entered as the most targeted player in the league, both on the court and off it. Every defender threw elbows. Every critic threw doubt. Every headline felt like a veiled jab. And yet, through it all, she led the league in assists and set a new gold standard for what a rookie season could be.
Take a look at this. These are the top 3 scorers in the WNBA since the women brought home gold in the Olympics a few weeks ago. 2 of the members are of the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell.
The Olympic snub? She turned that slight into fuel. While others rested during the break, Caitlin exploded. Post-Olympic stats put her among the top scorers in the league, averaging over 23 points per game. She wasn't just lifting her own numbers. She was dragging Indiana up the standings like a backpack, week after week, against impossible odds. And she did it all under a microscope that would have crushed most players.
Caitlin Clark at 5 is crazy to me, and it's crazy to me just off the rip because if we look at the MVP voting from last season, she was number 4 in MVP voting. It was Asia, Nafisa, Brianna, and then Caitlin.
What's wild is that even then, after doing everything right, she still wasn't treated like a legitimate MVP. It was as if her success had to come with an asterisk, as if breaking records and reviving a dying franchise wasn't enough without a championship ring. But that kind of logic doesn't hold up forever, because eventually, the numbers get too loud to ignore. And Caitlin's numbers, they're screaming.
Here's the thing. Love Caitlin. Love how she's transcended the game. I'm not going to go away from that. But in the open, we said, what makes a top 5 player? Winning. The only strike against Caitlin Clark is that she has not won a national championship. And that is the only thing that you can put against her, because the way she has dominated the record books when she was at Iowa was something you cannot duplicate. She's a 3-time NCAA scoring leader and assist leader, a true point guard for the people, 3-time All-American, 2-time Naismith Player of the Year, 2-time AP Player of the Year, all-time leading scorer. She broke the records of Kelsey Plum and Sabrina. Like, literally, there is nobody who has been such a front-facing name. It through a direct reflection of her skill set, but how can you be a top 5 player if you have not won a title?
It's a great point, which is why I agree with you.
The disrespect didn't stop after the season ended. In fact, it got worse. Bleacher Report's so-called WNBA expert ranked Caitlin Clark 5th in his 2025 MVP predictions. 5th, behind players like Alyssa Thomas, who averaged a modest 10.6 points per game. It wasn't just a snub, it was a slap in the face to everything Caitlin had proven. And fans knew it. Analysts were using the same tired excuse. She hasn't won a ring yet. As if rings grow on trees in your rookie year.
And I told y'all this last year. Well, I didn't tell y'all this last year on air, but like, we saw when they took the pictures with Christy Sides, like when she pulled up on them at All-Star Game, her, Kelsey, and AB, and everybody just kind of like rolled their eyes and walked away like she was a groupie.
Yeah,
that told me everything I needed to know. So when I said like she's not it was based on 2 years of seeing things that just shouldn't have been happening in the first place.
This is the same logic ESPN used when they excluded her from the list of top 5 college players of all time. Never mind the fact that she broke the all-time scoring record, or that she outdrew the men's championship in viewership, or that she single-handedly dragged women's college basketball into the mainstream. No title? No respect. That's been the pattern. But patterns break. And Caitlin Clark has made a career out of breaking things. Records, expectations, and now, old media narratives.
Yo, we cannot be short on that pass. We can't be short on that pass. One advantage that we have is that we're long as right? So now we got to use our length. So don't make yourself small.
The problem wasn't that Caitlin wasn't worthy. It was that acknowledging her meant rewriting the rules. Rules that were never built for players like her. But the truth doesn't care about comfort. It just keeps knocking. And now, it's kicking down the door.
Good! Good! Right? So you got to listen. You don't go until she says go. Yeah, she could stay. Yep, as soon as she says go, that's when you're going.
While the media played catch-up, Indiana was already 3 steps ahead. The Fever knew they had a generational talent in Caitlin Clark, but last year's coaching just wasn't cutting it. Enter Stephanie White, 2023's Coach of the Year and a bona fide basketball tactician. From the first whistle, everything changed. Plays made sense, rotations tightened, roles became clear. And most importantly, Caitlin finally had a coach who saw the court the way she did. Under White's leadership, Indiana's offense got structure, and Caitlin got space. No more chaotic broken plays, no more shrugging through bad possessions. Suddenly, there was rhythm, there was purpose. And Caitlin wasn't just improvising magic, she was orchestrating it. Her assists became sharper, her turnovers dropped, and her confidence sky high.
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog. She just is, she's a competitor. She's versatile, so she allows us to do different things. Like, she plays with such a toughness. She's huge, and she's going to be for us all season long. But what she brings from an energy standpoint, she raises the level of play of everybody around her as soon as she steps foot on the floor. Hell, even on the sideline. I mean, her communication, everything. She's definitely an X factor.
One elite coach can change a season. But for Caitlin, this coaching change may change her legacy. It's the difference between potential and production, between highlights and hardware. And with White calling the shots, MVP isn't a dream, it's the blueprint.
I guess to that point, how does this kind of compare to what you are used to?
Oh man, yeah, totally different atmosphere. The support here has been just phenomenal. I really can't go anywhere. I've been here like a week and a half, and everywhere I go, it's just like, we're excited for the season. Thank you for being here. So it's been really, really refreshing, and I'm just happy to be here.
But coaching wasn't enough. Indiana went full Avengers with their offseason. They added Natasha Howard and Sydney Colson, players with rings, grit, and championship DNA. They brought in Brianna Turner, a defensive monster. Then Sophie Cunningham, a tough-as-nails shooter who chirps while draining threes. Every elite team has a spark plug. Indiana found theirs.
But you have a Natasha Howard and a DeWanna Bonner that can just straight up go get their own bucket. And they're huge, okay? These are tall people, okay, guys? I think they're both like 6'3" and 6'4", right? So matchup nightmare. Sophie Cunningham has been playing out of position in Phoenix for like 3 years. So she probably will get to go play the 3 again. She's a very underrated defender. And now you have very elite rim protection in Bree Turner. So now you go keep Aaliyah Boston out of foul trouble, which means she's going to be able to stay on the court. So, do I think that they are a contender? Yes, I do.
Then came Dana Bonner, a 2-time champion, a respected vet with leadership dripping from every word. She doesn't just talk, she commands. Her presence calms the storm and tightens the focus. And when she speaks, everyone listens, even Caitlin. That's not just chemistry, that's culture. And it's exactly what Indiana lacked last year.
Everybody knows we have so much talent, but at the same time, you got to put that together. It's not going to be like, all right, you have all these great players, step out on the court, it's going to work. It's going to take a little bit of time to figure out how everybody works with one another. So DB's been tremendous, and obviously, not only as a leader, she's a tremendous basketball player too, and she's won championships. She knows what it is. So when she speaks, everybody listens. So I think that was a piece of the thing we were missing last year. It's we didn't really have that inside of our locker room. So just really grateful for that, and just the way she talks and she leads. For me as a second-year point guard, I want to win for her. This is the end of her career. She deserved it.
According to veterans around the league, this team isn't just talented, it's terrifying. The rookies are listening. The veterans are leading. And Caitlin Clark is now at the center of a unit built for war. The league didn't expect this rebuild to move this fast. But Indiana wasn't asking for permission. They were assembling weapons.
Caitlin, in her sophomore year, she's more seasoned. She has had time to rest. She's had time to really regroup and see exactly where she wants to go. Obviously, they have a ton of new players, new coach.
Caitlin Clark didn't spend her offseason resting on hype. She spent it transforming. For the first time in years, she had true downtime. No college season, no whirlwind draft circuit, no global media tour. Just peace, training, and time. And she used every second of it. The photos that hit the internet told the story. She didn't come back with a tan. She came back bench pressing the offseason.
And Clark. That's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
But this transformation isn't about muscles. It's about mindset. She added physical strength, sure, but she also added grit. She's no longer getting tossed around by defenders. She's bullying her way to the rim. She's absorbing contact and finishing plays she couldn't last season. Not because the skill was lacking, but because now her body cashes every check her mind writes.
I feel like everyone talks about it. I'll see it on social media. They'll be like, Caitlin has so strong muscles. And don't tell her I said that either. don't even mention that. Yeah. But I think her strength, I mean, she gets in the paint and she's able to bully her way in and finish strong at the basket. I mean, everyone talks about, once again, her three-point shooting, and we've all seen her passing, but I think her ability to get downhill and really just stay on balance and score the ball, I think is going to be great this year too.
And her teammates? They've noticed. They talk about her strength, her balance, the way she now controls tempo like a 10-year vet. She's no longer just reacting to the game, she's dictating it. And the result is a player who looks like she's been in the league for a decade, but still has the hunger of a rookie with something to prove.
I think Clark being in the MVP conversation is kind of the baseline at this point. You know, she's already been that good as a rookie, and I imagine she's going to take another step forward. I mean, we talked about how that Olympic break was so good for her to get some rest and come in with her legs underneath her. Now she has an actual off season, you know, that she got to take off where, you know, she didn't play in Unrivaled, she didn't play overseas. So this is a lot of time for Caitlin to just get her body right and come in the best shape possible for this upcoming season. And I think that's going to pay huge dividends for her. Like there's no like ramping up period this time around for Caitlin Clark. She's going to come in on game one and be already one of the top 5 players in the WNBA. So I mean, I think MVP has to be like the ceiling for her, right? Like she's already in that conversation. So for her to, you know, get even higher in the vote total, potentially winning that award either this year or next is what I would expect from her.
The Kennedy Carter incident, that ugly, unnecessary foul, lit the internet on fire. But behind the outrage was a shift. Caitlin didn't just walk away from that hit. She walked into a new gear. That moment marked the death of the rookie narrative. It wasn't about survival anymore. It was about dominance. In the weeks that followed, her confidence grew. Her presence got bigger. The league felt it.
I think for myself, you know, just having a year under my belt and knowing what to expect and continue to have fun playing basketball in front of these great fans. And, you know, as long as we win, I'm going to be happy.
Now, the same media outlets that once rolled their eyes are recalibrating. ESPN analysts now list her above A'ja Wilson and Napheesa Collier. The tone has changed. There's no more hedging, no more qualifying statements, just facts. Caitlin Clark is leading the MVP race, and everyone, even the skeptics, are starting to see why. And yet, she's still not talking about MVP. She's talking about winning, about leading, about making her team better. That's the part that scares her rivals the most, because a player that good, with that mindset, that's a nightmare.
Our road games sound like home games because our fans don't ask for permission to dominate.
If Caitlin Clark wins MVP this year, it won't just be a personal victory. It'll be a cultural earthquake. It'll be proof that impact can't be ignored forever. That skin tone and media bias and tired arguments about rings eventually get swallowed by results. Because what she's doing isn't about clout. It's about excellence. The WNBA's Now You Know campaign was a warning shot. But if Clark ends the season with the MVP in her hands, that won't be a warning. That'll be an exclamation point. It'll tell every young girl watching that greatness doesn't wait for approval. It demands it. And for the doubters, the ones who said she was all hype, all media, all flash, that MVP trophy will say the one thing Clark has never had to scream herself. I told you so. In her own words, Caitlin said it best. As long as we win, I'm happy. That's not ego. That's leadership. That's someone who isn't chasing headlines. She's chasing greatness. And ironically, that's why she deserves the MVP. Not because she begged for it, but because she's earning it every single night. This isn't just Caitlin Clark's breakout season. It's her takeover. The league wasn't ready, but it doesn't matter anymore, because she is. If you believe Caitlin Clark is the real MVP, comment CC MVP below. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is just the beginning, and you don't want to miss what comes next.